live. Moto Monday. I believe this is 121, which Stephen Harris got very excited about.
Yes.
He's like, episode 121, this is going to be the best one ever.
I know he's watching.
Is this going to be the best podcast that we've ever done for Moto Monday?
You know, the best is very hard to, accomplish, but yeah, it's going to be the best.
So this is number 121, Moto Monday, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, Krashel, Aaron Krashel here. I'm trying to think, now I got thinking, like, what would I say would be the best one we've had? It's really hard to pick because we've had really fun, informative ones.
Bob was pretty cool. He had some cool, like, look at this kind of...
Yeah, like history and like all cool stuff to talk about. We've had some wild ones. We've done burnouts in the studio. I mean, we've had, I actually don't know which one I'd say was my favorite.
The McCormick one was a pretty good one.
I've had several McCormick ones.
One of them. He's a regular.
McCormick's always a good time, and he likes to talk.
Yeah.
And I've known him for 20 plus years, and so we have no problem just sitting down and just,
throwing it back and forth.
BS and talking. Yeah. It goes just fine. So, yeah, it's actually a tough one, but apparently we're going to have to one-up everybody and put on a humdinger.
I think we can do that. I mean, that runs, so it won't be an extravagant burnout, but I mean, we can make it happen.
So for everyone listening, you're missing out on seeing this very cherry Honda Trail 70 in the background with white wall tires. What are those stock bars, or is this?
Those are the stock bars.
Those are the stock bars?
1975.
And, okay, so just exactly how did you make the shifter on this thing?
That's the original chain that came off of it. A good buddy of mine, Craig Milley, fabbed that up for me. I just told him what I wanted, and he handed it back, and it looks pretty cool. And it's a pretty good throw. It's like a 1 foot throw on the shifter.
So would you call that a suicide shift then? I mean, is that the proper term?
I'd call that a suicide shifter.
So you have a suicide shifter made out of the original chain, as well as a countershaft sprocket on the top.
Yeah.
That is pretty unique. I like it.
It's different. Every old timer just loves to talk about him when you go to the car shows and stuff,
Dude, the CT70 is probably one of the top 5 most iconic motorcycles.
Yeah.
It's something that we've all at one point probably owned.
Yeah.
That and a Spree.
Yeah.
I've
had a Spree.
We've all had a Spree.
Yeah.
And we've all probably blown them up. But the CT70, man, is just like a legend.
Yeah, and there's so many different variations you can build motorcycles these days, or in general, forever. So I love seeing the builds. I sold all the chrome off of it to buy the white walls, and I pulled an engine out of a bike that I had chilling in the garage, and so it's only an XR50 engine. It's not even the 70 engine.
So you actually went down in size, and it's a 50 now?
Yeah, it's a 2002 XR50 motor.
Stock 4. You didn't
bone stock.
Really?
Yeah, it's just slow and low.
Okay. Okay.
It was just what I had.
So it's a true pit machine.
Oh yeah.
It's not a
car shows. I mean, it does like 30.
Yeah.
It's sketchy.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it is not a soft ride either.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you don't really have any rear suspension, do you?
No, and the front's bottomed out too.
So the front's bottomed out, and the rear. Did you literally just what? You know what? I've never really looked. Is that straight hardtail?
Yeah, it's hardtail. I mean, you can push.
That's not a comfy ride because there's no cushion on the seat either.
It's got jet ski.
I was gonna say that's jet ski.
Jet ski foam. Yeah.
The jet ski foam on it. Yeah, that is not a good. I would not cruise around town.
It's more of a novelty. I mean, I wouldn't I'd ride at the store on it, but
I wouldn't go on a very long ride on that.
No.
Otherwise,
it's a good time though.
That's not.
It was in the One Moto show. That was the claim to fame on it.
I saw some pictures from the one show.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So I'm going to take a quick pause, and thanks to everyone who's watching this show. We got a sponsor for this episode. I just want to give a shout out to a kid I know, RDW Rooney Dirtworks, sponsoring this episode. And I should have brought a sticker maybe slapped on there somewhere. But if you guys need any dozing, leveling, clearing, or grading, you can hit up Tanner. And I'm going to throw out his phone number because, why not? If you guys want to send him a bunch of spam or photos, I don't really care. I'm sure he can take it with a smile on his face. His number is 360-999-0807. And he's a moto racer, and he's doing dozing now. You guys need any work around our area anyways, Clark County, Washington. Hit him up. And yeah, I really should have got, if I would have thought about it, I should have got like a sticker, a little sign and stuck it on there. So I'd take it off your bike when we're done.
Hey,
but,
they put out
I got to get creative with the sponsors,
Yeah, get them out wherever you possibly can.
It's actually fun sometimes to get creative with the people who help you out. Like,
yeah.
I think one of my most popular photos is I was trying to just give a shout out to Scott Steffi over with Vile Brand, which, another shout out if you guys want some good goggles by Northwest Company. Vile Brand goggles. Awesome people. And what was I doing? Oh yeah, I took a picture. I was watching, I forget which race it was, Supercross, and it was crazy. What battle was it? I think it was one of those Cooper Webb, Ken Roxon battles.
There's a lot of those battles.
There's a lot, yeah. Well, they don't exactly like each other. And I'm into it. I'm getting into it. I'm all stoked. I'm on the edge of my seat. Dude, I throw on my goggles. As much as I hate selfies, I took a selfie with my goggles and the big TV watching it. And,
did you have your pickup kit on?
Pickup kit?
The jersey, just the jersey by itself?
No. Literally the only reason I did that is because I had just cleaned my goggles and they're on my desk.
Hey.
And so I was like, oh, they're right there. This would be, just one of those, this would be a little funny. Shout out to Viral. Took a photo. It was one of my most liked photos of me cheering on. I almost didn't care who won. I just liked the good battle.
Yeah, just good times.
I miss some of the battles, honestly. I feel like people really kind of play a little nicer now.
Yeah, I mean, Bam Bam's not bamming really.
He's not.
He's not like he used to.
He looked good at the last race, though.
Yeah.
He did, but he's not as much Bam Bam. I did, so did you watch the last National?
No.
He did really good. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but he was in this battle, I think it was with Tomac, and he went over a jump and did a whip and a 1-footer. He put his foot back on, and it was almost like he did another whip because he took his foot back off and like whipped it again. I don't know if it was.
Was it like the opposite direction kind of?
No,
whip?
It was the same direction. It was like a whip, bring it back, and then another whip. I don't know if he was
just a lot of hang time to get those kind of movements.
Was this big floater table? And I was like, did you literally just do a double miracle whip? Like, I don't know what's going on.
And you can call it that just to call it a miracle whip.
Like, I'm not sure what you even call that, but it was just hyper aggressive, and like he was doing it at like 25 minutes into the moto. Like, how do you have the energy to do that? 25 minutes in, I'm done. I'm one step away from death.
I couldn't even do that.
I don't get how people like.
I just pick I haven't ridden on a big bike in a while, but I would just pick out my jumps and play on that section. Probably not even do full laps. Just cut the track.
Dude, and the older I get, the more my arms hurt when I pull off after my moto.
Yeah, my arms hurt at work now. Like, all of my shoulders are just constantly sore now.
Dude, moto will do it to you. So let's go ahead and get into a little history here, because this is where it's going to get fun. We've known each other for a while now, and we were talking about this before we went live. We've known each other for a couple years.
2003-ish, 2004. That was when I started Action Motorsports team days. There was a lot of woodland.
Yeah, and mini biking at 321 Moto.
Mini biking at 321.
The original Southern Washington spot to go ride your mini bikes.
Yeah, that's
kind of what started it.
Yeah, we would, and they only rode at night too.
Yeah.
So it was like we'd come up from Portland.
Wasn't it like a 5 to 9 sesh or something like that?
Yeah. So by the time you get home, it's like 11, 12, 1 in the morning after you get all settled in.
Well, that's what it was like for me when I went to Hindsight. A few years later, Hindsight became the spot. But the old 321 days, man, a lot of people don't remember that place, but it was a track in Woodland, Washington. Honestly, that building was way too small to have a track in it.
Yeah.
But they made it happen, and I don't know who started the whole mini bike thing, but they dedicated one day of the week from a certain time section at night, mini bikes.
It was like a Thursday night or a Friday night or something.
I think it was Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday night, and we would go up there. It would be me and Joel Ard, and then Mitch Rask rolled with us a couple of times too.
Yeah.
Man, we would just go and put down
a lot of the Blosian guys back in the day would go out there. And I remember when I first got into it, that's kind of where I started riding. Like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's everybody out here, and that's back when an 88 kit was sick.
Yeah, 10 inches of freedom.
10-inch wheels. I showed up in my Chinese 107 and actually had horsepower against people.
Yeah, right.
It was so different than what it is now. Like, I have a 5-speed 190 4-valve. Like,
I rode the...
We didn't even consider
that's just
stuff.
like a rocket between your ankles. It's like you just ride like this all the time. Your feet just go out from under you. They're a lot of fun to ride.
I'm literally thinking I'm buying a 212 tomorrow, but I know it's going to scare me.
Well, what's Bob's got all kinds of 190s
Bob,
floating around.
Yeah, see, the problem is I got the 5-speed Daytona, and I think the older 4-speeds were better because I already blew out my transmission in 6 hours of time on the bike. I don't think they fully dialed in the 5-speeds.
Yeah, but you're like on team never lift on a mini bike too.
Never lift?
Yeah, you just don't let up. You just hold and shift and hold and shift.
Okay, maybe I'm a little aggressive on it. Still, I've had a few Daytona motors in my pit bikes, and I've had a great luck with them. I have exploded a few transmissions before, but not on Daytonas. They have been solid, but this is the first time I've ever had the 5-speed instead of the old school 4-speed, which riding at first was sweet because you have that extra gear. It was actually really fun, but then I had issues and like, wow, that didn't take long. So I talked to a few other guys like, yeah, the older 4-speeds. Is that going to be like
on the 5-speed, is it shorter ratios between your gears on that one? Or?
A little bit, yeah.
So is that the one that those guys, is that the one that those guys are running like in Japan in those like the little monkey gorilla bikes?
Yeah, it's a hot thing for the monkey bike thing, but we ride dirt a lot different than street.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and that's where you actually ran into a lot of problems on the pit bikes is stuff that was originally designed in Japan for the monkey scene, which if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, but how would we describe the monkey thing? Like
in Japan?
Yeah, like because it's huge.
Oh yeah.
Or, I mean, all over the world, it's a thing. But like
they'll take a bike like this and then they'll make it like an inch off the ground. They'll put tires, 2 of those tires wide, and then they'll put like a 190 dual overhead cam in it.
Yeah, it's basically taking like old school Hondas, like Z50s,
and
like CT70s, and just dumping thousands or tens of thousands of dollars into them, and they have 6-speed dry clutch
and they're
dual overhead cam bike. Oh yeah,
all the colors and their billet. It's just
insane.
JDM, bro. I mean, it's so beautiful.
It is a insane little super niche market that's actually really big overseas, especially. Actually, there's a scene in Korea, dude. Really? Like, yeah, I ran across a page that was all in Korean. And they had some beautiful bikes, some Gorillas and some...
the Gorillas are really neat. Those are the ones with big tanks.
And a couple dudes who had the old ZBs.
Oh, cool.
They didn't make those very...
No, they didn't. I don't know if they had
a year or two?
Yeah, it was
I had a ZB50, actually.
86. Joel has one, and Craig done at Fast 50s. He had one.
I will not admit how much I sold my ZB50 for, but let's just say I made a nice profit.
That's always good, though.
They only imported 350 into the United States. I don't know where everywhere else around the world, but I believe it was only 350 now. If I'm wrong on my stats, I apologize. I'm going off memory. It's been a decade. But I know they were super hard to find, and I just ran across one like at a garage sale, and I picked it up for like $400.
A ZB?
Like, a ZB. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I could sell the seat for that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of kicked around, and then the whole Grom thing came out. I was like, oh, I don't need this super rare, impossible to find parts for a bike. I'll just buy Grom.
Yeah.
And so I sold it for, let's just say, a lot more than what I paid for it. But that bike was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
The ZB50 was sick looking.
Then Yamaha had the YSR 50.
2-stroke, right?
2-stroke.
Yeah.
And that was kind of about the same. I think it was about.
You still see dudes rocking those,
80s,
like at the track. Yeah, they still rock those things.
There's a couple floating around. Little YSR 50s are a lot of fun. And then in Japan, or I think Thailand, Kawasaki has the KSR 110. It's like a miniature KLR 650. It's a mini enduro.
Well, that's what started the KLX 110.
Yeah.
Is that bike.
The KSR.
Yeah, which was around much earlier than the KLX 110. They basically took that and like, let's make this not so but ugly.
Yeah.
Turn it kind of into a dirt bike. Now, why do you think they got rid of the 4-speed? That's one thing that blows me away is they have a 4-speed transmission and they literally just dropped in a different drum like, let's make it a 3-speed.
Well, I mean, originally it was for like a 9-year-old.
It's fine to have an extra gear. That just blows me away. Because, once again, for people who don't know, a 02 to 09 KLX 110, if you want to make it a 4-speed, you just literally buy an $85 drum, drop it in, now you have a 4-speed.
Yeah.
What? I don't understand, I guess, the mentality of taking out a 4th gear, making it more kid-friendly.
I've got the...
I don't get it.
I've got the Z125. It's like the Kawasaki version of a Grom.
Yeah.
And it's a 4-speed. But it's fuel injected too. And I don't know, Kawasaki needs to jump on that fuel injected train. Because they've got it in that bike already.
Here's my thing with fuel injected, is if you're gonna, whatever it is, whether it be a pit bike, a mini bike, whatever it is, it's cool until you really want to get some horsepower out of it. See, and this is my problem with the CRF 110s. Stock form, super cool. You want to go make it really fast, you don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Because the fuel injection cannot keep up. KLX 110, you can take that, and you can make it a 212. Mm-hmm. You can literally quadruple the horsepower out of it. However, that carb ain't going to keep up.
No.
No, you're going to take off that little, was it 18 millimeter carb?
P16, I think.
And you're going to throw on anywhere from a 26 to a 28 to 32. Flat slide on the big ones. Yeah.
You're like, how do I make this fit under there?
My Daytona, I run a PWK 28 flat slide.
That's what I run on my. Yeah, I use a PWK 28 on mine. Yeah, it's a 132.
That's a huge difference from the stock. So now take that theory and pass it on to fuel injection. A stock fuel injection system is not going to keep up.
No. So I mean, because if it's gonna put down power, it's got to eat. And those you can't. I mean, I like carbs. I like to eat my carbs.
Yeah, I like the theory of fuel injections. Definitely love it on my 450.
It's convenient.
But for a pit bike, that's part of the fun, is we can really mess with them. I'll throw on this kit or this, and it's kind of fun to throw things on.
Yeah, but I don't even ride my Go Fast bike. I don't even ride it anymore because it's kind of too fast, and I like being able to ride with one hand and play around with the stock slow. I like my stock slow bikes now, but I still get just as hurt on the stock ones than you do the fast ones.
Yeah, my favorite bike is still probably a KLX 110 with a 143 kit.
There's a kid out there somewhere that has the one that you had, that I had, and I passed it on to. It's still thumping hard.
You know how many 143s I've built?
Yeah.
I had 2. I ended up selling one to a buddy, and I still got one. It's getting worked on right now. I'm getting all freshened up for the year because I kind of did a 24-hour ride on it, and it might have wore it out.
Yeah. Hey. I just keep running until it starts smoking.
It was not happy after the end of 24 hours. It wasn't exactly happy.
Yeah, that's right. It was the breast cancer ride?
Yeah, we were doing it to raise funds for the Legacy Tumor Bank. I called it, I just pulled this out of my hat, like laps for a cure, and just see how many laps I could do in 24 hours.
So how many laps did you do in 24 hours?
441, I think, or 443.
So you did 400 plus laps on a pit bike. So
yeah.
What model of pit bike did you have that you did those laps on?
I brought 4.
You brought 4 bikes?
Because the first year I did it, I ran into a lot of bike issues. So I brought 4. And sure enough, this is when I broke the transmission on my mod bike. I only got about an hour in on it.
So did you have one, you're like, okay, I'm going to ride the fast one first because I have the most energy?
Yeah. Honestly,
and then your bike's just then you're finishing off with a Bone Stock XR100 with marshmallow suspension, and you're like, all right.
Well, I figured, okay, so I brought a CRF 150R. So that's the cushiest, best suspension. Running like snot though, because it was not jetted for the track.
You did it at Riverdale?
Riverdale.
Okay.
And it was not jetted for there, so it was running like snot. I was like, but if I get super tired, at least it has a suspension, I can lug it around. Okay. I figured the majority of my time would be on the stock KLX 110.
Right.
But I also have my full-blown 190 full mod.
Yeah, the Go Fast.
So I was like, let's start on that because I'm not going to have the energy
I'm not gonna ride
to handle this later. So let's do that first. And I went out kind of like a dummy. I go start racing all the big bikes. I'm riding with dudes on 250s, and I'm having some fun. And if you let it rip and just kind of let your balls hang, it's amazing how fast you can go on a full 21 horsepower full mod.
Oh yeah.
And when you start jumping stuff, I'm like, I don't think I should jump this. I have the horsepower, but if we kick a little sideways, the bike don't weigh much.
Yeah,
and it can kind of just go with the wind.
If you hit the big jumps on a small bike, like your geometry is so much shorter, where you go end for end so much faster. The ground comes
things
up.
Can go wrong in a hurry, and that becomes a fear. And people are like, oh, you got the horsepower to hit that? I'm like, yeah, you want me to go hit a 85-foot tabletop. Do you understand the little bit of a kicker could throw me sideways in this
video game?
Yeah, this is not a video game.
Cool,
I know I have the horsepower. I fully understand I have the horsepower, but my bike weighs about 120 pounds. I can lift over my head. It doesn't weigh much. So if I get kicked weird, things can go south in a hurry. I remember the first time I did the table at PIR.
And those things will do anything off the face. You
have no idea.
They'll bog flat.
I've learned the pucker just grip with your knees as soon as you hit a big jump. My Polini 50 back in the day, I remember I hit a 70-foot double, and I did one of these, just nose straight up and down like a 12 o'clock. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't weigh anything. I'm on 10-inch wheels. They're super twitchy with way too much horsepower, and that's the problem you get into with full mod bikes. So I digress, but we did the fast bike first. It quickly lost a transmission, so then I switched over to the 110. I did the majority of it on the 110. I switched to the 150 when I got super tired because I had the suspension. I wasn't going super fast because it just wasn't running well, but most of it on a 110. And I can tell you, those things hurt your back.
Yeah,
my back hurt for like a week.
Yeah, I've got a blown out stock shock and just run it. Go have fun.
They are still, I think, the most fun bike to ride. And
Stalkers?
That's not just pit bike. I mean, any bike. A KLX 110, tall bars, 143 kit. Dude, I will ride that anywhere and have a good time.
Yeah.
I did the Hangover Scramble in it.
I
blew it up, but
I made an attempt to do the Santa Claus race on one, but I ended up with an XR70 then, I think. But that was another one of those amazing races that we used to do back in the day, was the Santa Claus race. I had fun there.
Dude, you have done a lot of pit bike events. You've been, I consider you one of the OGs in the Northwest pit bike scene. You've been doing it for a minute.
I mean, it's been quite some time since I have done it. I go out and play still, but yeah, back in the day, it was graduated high school in 04, I think it was 05, I'm not really sure. And I started working at the motorcycle shop, and that was when I was mini biking, and parents got me a bone stock KLX 110. We just hit every single mini bike thing, and then you started off with the Polini. So you had the Polini for a while, and then you jumped around to the
05,
the Thumb Stars. You had a lot of those.
No, it was more the Extreme.
Oh, that's right.
The Guy Cooper ones.
The Guy Cooper and the Kenny Bartram ones.
Yeah. Dude, that's actually one of my biggest bum outs in life was Guy Cooper was supposed to go to Langtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember, I think he had he got hurt, he had a surgery or something, and my dad was a dealer, and he's like, hey, you're one of our actually big dealers and whatever. And he's like, do you want to have your kid do it in my place? And I actually took Guy Cooper's place at Washougal back when, let's see, my claim to fame, I took out Jeff Alessi that time.
Get it coming.
07, when Storm blew up his bike over the Chuck Sun jump. He hucked it and then landed. What year was that? That was long time ago. But anyways, I got an invite because, once again, guys, I can't do anything. I can't make it, so here's my ticket. Sweet. So we got in on that, and then I got in on Langtown. Langtown was my dream race, man.
You went to Langtown?
No, here's my problem. that was the year it got shut down. I had my ticket because it got super, you had to know people that knew people that knew people to get into race Langtown.
Yeah.
I had my I had an invite, and I was like, this is my dream come true. I've always wanted to do Langtown. I was so stoked, and I was getting everything ready.
That was the original.
It was the original pit bike
and they
race.
raced them on XR100s, the one bike that people say is not a pit bike.
They did, the last 2 years, they did add mini classes, which I was going to do the 10-inch.
Yeah.
They were going to do 10, 12, and the regular
and the big bike.
3 classes.
Yeah.
And that was the year they got shut down.
Bummer.
And I would just remember getting the news that, I think it was an email, and I'm just like, no. That was my dream race I always wanted to do. And never got brought back.
Well, there was that one, and then we had the Bubba's 50 flying freestyle.
Oh yeah.
Hindsight. That was when Bubba was there. That was pretty fun.
That was interesting. Do you remember the first mini bike national I put on?
At Hindsight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Me trying to be a promoter at 18, and
you did a few of them there though.
I did, yeah. And that's where I started. But when I started, dude, I think I was 18 or 19. I've never put on a race. I throw up just out of my own pocket, I think $2,000.
Yeah.
And I have no trackside software. I literally brought family members to run the event.
Yeah.
And a couple flaggers. And we show up and there was 168 entries. Like,
oh
boy, here we go. Like, I literally had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to figure out how to hook up the PA. I'm literally just right out of like high school age, and there's people everywhere, and everyone's expecting me to know what I'm doing. Dude, I was winging it. I was straight winging it, but it's cool to look back on now because like that was actually kind of cool. There was a ton of people, and
we had good turnouts back in those. I mean, like good turnouts, like 100+ riders, and that was when like Pit Racer magazine and MiniMoto magazine, and then like the back. There was another one. It was MiniMoto and another is like Cycle News was like it was a flip-flopped magazine where one side was one. I can't remember what it was, but that was always.
I forget what it was called, but yeah.
I've got a few of those stashed.
I do too. I think I have every one actually because I pretty much got a lifetime supply of all Cycle News type stuff because I used to do.
Yeah.
I used to write for them and I used to do a lot of their stickers and banners and stuff. So I had all that and I got it stashed away somewhere. And every once in a while, it's kind of fun to dig through and dig out and like remember some of those days.
I remember like going to Action Motorsports in like 03 and then getting like the big spread, like newspaper colored. Grab one of those and grab a Nicolette on the way out.
Dude, I still have it framed. Actually, my dad is the one who has it framed. The second Mini Bike National, I think, and because we did costume races.
Yes,
and
I'm
in a clown outfit. I made the cover of Motorsport News. I didn't know that was happening. I knew the editor, and actually I wrote the article, but like I told him to use a different person. I sent him like 20 photos. It's like, hey, this. It was a 6 shot, I think, of who was it? Kyle Cohen.
Oh yeah.
We had a 6 shot of Kyle Cohen.
He was in a clown too, right?
I don't remember what he went in. I do remember one guy going in lingerie, which I have a funny story about. But real quick, Cerruti, I'm sorry, I'm telling the story. But I had no idea that he was going to use mine because it was literally a cheesy outfit I'd grabbed from someone like the day before or something, whatever. I'd go to a clown. And it made the cover. I was like, I've never made a cover before. That's actually kind of cool. Anthony Cerruti, though, sorry, buddy, it was hilarious. But he, if I remember correctly, once again, I apologize if I get facts wrong. This was 14 years ago.
Dude.
But he was like, I want to do the costume race. I don't have a costume. He was trying to figure it out. He went to one of the ladies working Hindsight. And I don't know how the conversation started. And she's like, actually, I have a bunch of clothes for Goodwill. Went out to her car. For whatever reason, she had lingerie she was given to Goodwill. Grabbed some of it and like wore like these tight leggings things and like underwear over the top. And then I think it was like this.
I could see Cerruti doing that.
Oh yeah, Anthony just rolls it in. Like he had some like corset thingy on, and I'm looking at him on the life. Where did you get that? And then the story is more hilarious. He just walked around asking people if they had clothes, and this lady had Goodwill clothes. And why was that in your Goodwill stash? Like,
all done with it.
I have so many questions, but it was hilarious. He got published in Cycle News with that photo too. Anthony Cerruti in the costume class. Mini Bike National.
We need to find it.
I still have, I think I saved like a bunch of copies from that one too. It was hilarious. I still have the photos too. Because I took a lot of them. But those were some of the fun days, man. Did you ever race Sweet Bud?
Sweet Bud?
Sweet Bud.
Where's that? No. So no. And then where's that?
MXGP, which is now shut down. Up by Monroe.
No.
So
I think the only one, like the northern ones that I've done was Ward Creek and Spokane. Those are the only
Did
two.
you hit the Big Pro one at Spokane?
No.
Dude, so I got a story on that one too. Sweet Bud was cool. It was, I don't remember their names. Well, I think their last name was Sweet, but they had a kettle corn business.
Love kettle corn.
Oh, dude, they had good kettle corn too. I was eating it all day. I think that's probably why I suck so bad. But like, so they had a kettle corn business, and they teamed up, I think, with like BBR and stuff, and they had heavy hitters. They had like Abrigo, Kyle Cohen. They had Ryan Beat, remember from Rieg?
Yeah.
Kim Rieg showed up. Dude,
I've seen a couple Rieg bikes pop up on some of those mini bike groups. They're pretty rad. I love seeing the Rieg bikes.
talk about throwing it way back, having Rieg stuff, dude. He showed up, and he brought out the crew, and there were some heavy hitters out there. I don't remember the purse. I think they had a decent purse, and it was just kind of a thrown together little mini track. And Tyler Hansen was out there at like 12 years old, way back before he ever got fast or turned pro. And I got pictures of him on a 50. And actually, never mind. He was like 9 or 10. He was like this little tiny kid. That was a cool, and I only think they ran it once though.
Yeah.
But dude, that was one of the most memorable pit bike events I've been to around here, because it felt kind of just like they tossed it together. The classes were really weird, but you go there and like, there's heavy hitters everywhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember Ryan Beat is someone people don't remember much of. He was one of the Rieg guys.
You had some pretty heavy hitters at your races too, at hindsight. I mean, you had Cohen and you had Brad Ripple, and then...
Oh yeah, Ripple showed up.
He was fast. He rode, I don't know who he rode for, I can't remember.
We switched over to Pitster early on.
That was the very beginning of Pitster.
Yeah, the old school Pitsters. Yeah. Not the banana swing arm days. It's when they went to the 110 size bikes. That's when they got Ripple on. And he was like their heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy could fly on a pit bike.
And then Cohen, he fit the bike.
It's like Wanch. It's like 5'1".
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric. I know he's watching. But yeah, they literally fit the bike. Kyle was just a short thing, but dude, he could shred a pit bike.
He could send that thing. They did a lot of the BBR Monster teamed up, and they did a lot of those long jumps. They don't do really the long jumps on the minis anymore, but like that was when Cohen was doing those pretty cool long jumps.
For a little while, Kyle Cohen held the world record.
Yeah, there was a couple other guys too that were doing like long jump backflips, like full sends backflips on like the 50 Nuts movies.
You know who holds the record right now for a mini bike? You should go watch it sometime. It's just dumb. What's his name? Dennis Hodson. Remember him? He's Guy Cooper's. Oh, I'm gonna screw this up. So Bartram and Guy Cooper are like, is that his nephew? I believe.
Okay.
I think that's his nephew. They're related. And there's Dennis Hodson, which I think is like a cousin. So Hodson was just the full send one, and he went out there. Literally, I mean, I think it was just a $600 turd extreme. Like, I'm sorry, he did not have a super sick pit bike.
Right.
I think it was a 12-inch extreme, either the 88 or the 125. And Home Slice went 138 feet on it. You see, and he had the longest runway. Did you see him? He's just going, holding it tapped for 20 seconds, slow all the way up the ramp, and it just launches. And you're like, oh, he's dead. Oh, I don't know how he landed that. It was not a high-end pit bike. It was one of the sketchier things I've ever seen. I think it's still on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Check that out.
But that's who beat Kyle Cohen.
Huh.
And because Kyle held it for a little while, but he had a full, dual overhead cam, BBR. Still went a gap that I wouldn't hit. I mean, that took major cojones. But the Hodson,
I would do like the Mountain View stuff. I did a lot of that stuff on the 110. Joel did the PIR gap, the Pro Double.
He's still the only guy who's ever done that.
Yeah, I think he's the only one that's ever done it. Maybe Storm might have way back. But he did it
it's been a goal of mine, and
he did it on
I can't do it, man.
He did it on a Rieg frame, Rieg swing arm, 124, 10-12.
10-inch wheels. That's what's insane. It's like, dude, I've tried, I literally showed up one day, it was like, today's the day I'm going to huck this. And I showed up with a 190. And I was prepping for it, and I was going for it like a few times and let off. And everything that ran through my mind is like, how did Joel do this on a 10-inch?
Yeah. It's just what he does. I don't know.
Joel Ard is vastly underrated on a pit bike.
Yeah. we had a pretty fun mini bike track out at our house out in Sandy, and we would just go out there and Joel would come out and we'd run until 10, 11 o'clock at night, racing with tractor lights. Always good times when you get the boys back together. An actual race and pit bike track.
I would love to see a group of people get back onto the 10-inch bikes, but you just don't see a lot of them anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
because pit bikes are back. I don't know if you've been watching.
We had 200
plus entries at the last mini bike national.
The 110 scene is huge right now.
But it's all 110s, yeah.
And man, the price gouging right now.
Oh, I wasn't even going to get into that.
Holy moly!
COVID has officially made
$3,200 for a 2005 CRF.
COVID has officially made pit bikes gold. It's insane. Go look at the California prices. Go hop on California Craigslist.
Yeah, it's
dudes were selling CRF 110s for $4,900.
$6,200 for a 21 CRF or a 2020 CRF 110.
That's insane.
$6,200.
That's insane.
And that guy, when he bought it, he's like, yeah, and someone will buy it for 50 or whatever.
It's kind of gross.
It's horrible.
You know what?
But
there was a time, let's go back to 2014. Everyone called me a moron for still trying to promote pit bike races. Yeah. Everyone was like, pit bikes are dead.
I mean, they were.
They were. So why I quit doing the mini bike national was the last year I ran it up at Grays Harbor. We had 19 entries.
Yeah.
And Jamie Mack was one, though. I give him kudos.
Jamie Mack was one?
Yeah.
Man.
He trucked it all the way out there, and Jamie Mack was a regular. I love seeing him out there. Now he just catches bass.
Dude, kills it at catching bass, too, though.
Ride a pit bike again, man.
His Instagram is just fishing, and then there's one of him just throwing a clean backflip on a 110 that just goes back to fishing.
Just nonstop, lunch off bass. That's literally all he does. But I had 19 entries, man. I'm like, I paid so much money to prep this track, rent the track, hire the workers, all this, and we have 19 entries.
Yeah.
I lost so much money on that I was like, okay, maybe they were right. Maybe they're right. And I quit the national, and I just kept running smaller. Mm-hmm. Even the small races and here and there, the barbecues, nobody showed up, dude. I literally have put on events with 3 people. It was dead.
Yeah,
dead.
The Mountain View ones were kind of a bust too sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I ran Mountain View ones there's no one here. But
yeah, you get a participation trophy.
I like pit bikes.
Yeah,
and I wasn't going to give up. Cool. We only got 3 people. It's literally me, Bob, and Home Slice, who lives around the corner. Whatever. We're going to keep running it. And the swing came around, and it was honestly the biggest compliment when Dwayne was like, good job sticking it out and not quitting. He's like, because it came back, and it's now bigger than ever. It's different.
It's good to see that he's jumped back into it, too. Two Brothers is back out into it.
Yeah, Two Brothers. For about 3 weeks, Big Minis came back.
Yeah, they did.
And they were gone again.
A short run.
Yeah.
But their stuff's floating around on those websites, too.
Oh, if you want anything with the Big Minis logo, be prepared for thousands.
Yeah, oh yeah. Big Minis or...
It's hilarious to see stuff that we used to watch go for really nothing, now suddenly become gold. If you want a BBR frame,
they're $3,500 to $5,000 for the frame.
Yes.
Ish.
Which is why I almost sold mine. I have a never before ridden V1. Just, 10-inch one, and just we're trying to finish. And I almost thought about selling this because apparently these are gold now.
Yeah.
And who actually convinced me to keep it was Dwayne Brown, the man himself. I talked to Dwayne, and I'm like, what do you think? Should I sell it? Because I'm like, I have a whole setup, swing arm, Zokes, everything. It's never been ridden. It's never seen dirt. It's never literally even been, it was a showroom model.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you could get some money. He's like, but we kind of made these to be ridden. He's like, what do you think Carson would do? I'm like, he would ride the snot out of it. He's like, so why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a great way to look at it. Yeah, just ride it. Yeah. So
I need to drag my mod bike out. I rode it once in 2012 on my bachelor party, and it was desert playing around, and then once in 2014, and it's been sitting. It just sits in the corner of my garage.
Is that one with mag wheels?
Yeah.
Are those Fast 50s wheels?
It's just the back wheel.
Oh, is it just the back
It's just
one?
the back wheel. Craig, down at Fast 50s, it's the 12-inch wheel that they make, and it's an interchangeable front or back because it's a interchangeable hub on the Hondas.
Okay.
And it's got a Honda brake on it. We just made a spacer and anybody can do it. It's not like only we can, but yeah, it turned out pretty cool. We just did it before Vegas, and
you don't see a lot of mag wheels.
There's very few, like a couple. I think one guy in like France might have a couple, or
you see some 10-inch stunt guys who rock
10-inch, and then there's some 12-inch Douglas wheels that used to be out, and those were aluminum, but those were like the mini bikes, or for the 50s, but none. You don't see them in the 110s.
Yeah, it's very.
I get
very
a lot of
rare.
people after that. A lot of people are after that wheel.
Dude, you gotta hold on to it. I got a few parts
I get
that people
messages.
want.
Yeah.
Like, no,
they're like, they'll see my titanium Two Brothers exhaust, and like they'll see that back wheel, and they'll be like, hey, like Jesse Bain, is always trying to swoop my wheel.
So explain to me this: when did dress-up kits become $500?
I don't know, man.
That's another thing that blew me away. Is
Pro Circuit dress-up kit is like, $400 and something.
I had 3 brand new Two Bros dress-up kits. I will not tell you what I sold those for, but I was just browsing, and then I saw what one went for. Like, oh,
yeah.
I thought it was worth $50. I was wrong. Okay, cool. I don't need these. Sell them. I don't care. You know?
I let the set go that were on that one bike that I had, but I mean, I've got a stock bike and I'm having fun. I don't care.
I don't really get into that. Like, I've had the coolest and I've had the cheapest. You know me. I've had a lot of Chinese bikes.
You can have it now.
I've had a lot of Chinese bikes. I mean, come on. Everyone has made fun of me for Dax. If you're watching, Dax for the past 15 years of my life has made fun of me for my Chinese bikes. But you know what? I've also had full-blown Takagawa 124 BBR bikes, Marzochis, and Elka.
Yeah.
I've broken everything. I think I've proven I've broken. I can break literally everything.
Scattered some solid motors.
Yeah, it happens, and I am a firm believer. Just ride your bike and have fun with it. And I don't get into I have this particular name brand, this and this. I want something to work.
Yeah, and let people ride them. Don't be stingy about it.
Yeah, people get all weird.
Which
is why I love Bob. Bob got his.
Like, hey, I got a $17,000 pit bike. Take it for a rip.
He literally had just picked up, so he has a 1 of 8 Rig 70 aluminum frame.
Is that Justin Hall's bike?
Yeah, Hall's bike. Yeah, okay, and actually he has 2.
He's got 2.
He has 2 of the 8 or whatever there is.
Yeah.
He has 2. One he will never ride. The other one he's, formerly Hall's bike. He had just picked it up, and we were out at Mountain View, and he's like, check this thing out. And it had all been set up for 10 and 12 wheels instead of the 12, 14. And it got the, he has the Twin Spark. Takagawa with Twin Spark in it. And I'm like, dude, that thing's clean. And he's
it's the 124 too,
124,
right? Yeah.
Or was it 138? No, I think it's 124.
That was 124.
124.
Dual spark.
So he's like, yeah, go take it for a rip. Like, dude, I'm going to scratch it. He's like, go put some real laps on it. He's like, I want to hear you hit the rev limiter. I'm looking at Bob like, I don't know what you paid for this bike, but I
am Justin, break everything he touches, Wharton.
And he's like, I'm like, Bob, you know I break things, and you know I'm going to have a lot of fun on this, and you realize there's less than 10 of these in existence.
Yeah.
And you want me to go flog it? He's like, yeah, I want to hear the rev limiter, because I have yet to hit it. Like, okay, Bob. And we got actually a picture.
Hold my White Claw.
Dude, I was nervous, because like, this is pretty rare bike. Rig has not been in business for who knows how many years, and you want me to go flog the snot out of it? And we did get a cool picture of me blowing up a berm, and I sent I sent it to Justin Hall.
There you go.
But like, I was nervous the whole time. I was like, Justin, there's a lot. I know there's a lot of money into this thing, and you can't replace some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's full billet. It's a full billet chassis.
Right, unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, it's unobtainium. It's you can't replace it.
No.
They're like, the company doesn't exist. And even when they did exist, this was a super rare one-off kind of thing they did one run of.
There were like, you said there was only like 12 of them?
I want to say it was 8. I could be wrong. Once again, I don't know the exact stats, but he only did one small run of these CRF 70 frames that were, it's this big, tall billet I think the whole thing was a one-piece billet frame. It wasn't. It wasn't
the main
perimeter.
section. It went down and then just it's like all bolted together.
Yes, that's the whole thing. There's no welds. It's
there's no welds. It's all bolted together with.
And it was, instead of the perimeter, like where BBR went, it was a single spar.
Yeah.
And super cool frame, but he only did one run. One small run, and that's it.
So it makes it so valuable.
And Bob owns 2.
They're unicorns.
Yeah, talk about being nervous riding this. Like, I don't want to, like, what if I case a double or something?
Yeah. They're cool bikes, definitely.
Rieg is another person I think was underappreciated because he made some seriously cool stuff.
Yeah, he made really neat swing arms. They're one piece, all billet.
I think I still have a plus
They were
3.
like cut up underneath, and they look really neat.
I think I still have a plus 3 50 swing arm from Rieg.
Joel had his, and that thing would clear that probably by 2 inches, 3 inches. It was such a long wheelbase. But
the plus 5s, I think it was a plus 5 or 5.5 or something. I still think it's one of the best looking 50s. You put Zokes on the front.
Yeah.
Run the stock frame, who cares? And like the long Rieg swing arm, whatever exactly it was, Elka, and some fresh graphics and a Takagawa motor with that bronze side cover is one of the best looking 50s you could build.
There's my wife's cousin. He's got a Rieg 10-inch with a 124 Superhead Takagawa chilling in the garage with a blanket over it. It hasn't probably been ridden in 5-10 years.
It needs to be ridden then.
It's so sweet. I dragged it out one day, probably 5-6 years ago, just to drool over it and tucked it away.
It needs to be ridden.
I know, right? A lot of these guys will get these super cool bikes. Like Justin's got it might be Justin Hall, that has the Stewart's bike.
I believe he does, yes. He had it for sale. I think he still owns it.
Yeah. That one you shouldn't ride.
Yeah, you run into those bikes that maybe you should not ride. The Stewart bike, maybe not.
No.
But it looks cool in the corner.
Yeah, right? The Pastrana had a bunch of bikes that he had for sale too.
And he like sold them cheap.
Yeah, for like $600, $300, $150.
Yeah, he just pawned them off, whatever, and people were like,
they were on eBay.
Yeah, he
and they were
put
just
them on eBay.
Dumping them on eBay.
Whose idea was to throw up a bunch of Pastrana 110s on eBay?
And then some of the people that bought them were flipping them and trying starting it at $3,500 for this.
I know, sickening. Like, I know you bought that for $800
with 2 flat tires, a missing shroud, and a ripped grip and a missing lever.
They're being ridiculous, dude. The pit bike scene is so bizarre now, but
it's cool that's coming back. Kawasaki, or the KLX 110s and the CRF 110s. Everyone's really doing the backyard like 6-pack BMX jumps. Did you see at Twitch's house where they've just got that monster like 14-pack, just insanely huge jumps, and they're vertical for the whole face.
Oh yeah, dude. He's put out some fun pit bike videos. I love seeing all these dudes now like get back into it like it was. And there's famous dudes like Axel Hodges. Half his photos and videos are pit bikes now.
Yeah.
Vicky Golden. It's nonstop CRF 110 photos. Like, it is come back. It's different.
Yeah.
But it's back.
It's definitely I'd say a stalker craze.
It's a stock 110 craze.
Stock 110 bars. I mean, maybe a big work kit, but.
So now, as someone who's been in the whole pit bike scene for a long, long time, people who've never ridden a pit bike, what's the draw? Your words. What's the draw?
The draw?
Yeah. Why would you do one? Or, why would you ride a pit bike instead of your 450?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's no clutch, so you can hold your beer. That's like the best.
Okay.
You could like hand it over to anybody and be like, "Hey, let me hold that for you. Go take this thing for a rip." Anybody could ride a mini bike. Anybody could ride a pit bike without a clutch. That's the best part about it, to me. I like watching new people ride motorcycles.
Why have you been into them so long?
They're fun. You get to compete. Like, you just clean each other out, and that's like the best part, is just cleaning each other out. I mean,
but not get as hurt as much if you did like on your 450.
Yeah, I've had a lot of burns on my legs.
Well, the exhaust is okay. So
I get
this
a lot
one does. Maybe it won't show you, but Yeah, especially a KLX 110, I swear that exhaust sticks out pretty far.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the reason I've had them for so long is just because I don't think I've ever not had a motorcycle, like ever.
But why choose like a pit bike over full size? What makes it more fun? I can tell you my words.
I can crash really hard on a big bike, and I got to go work tomorrow, and I don't know.
Do you feel like it's just a little more laid back?
Yeah, it's a lot more laid back. You don't have to get, I mean, you should get all geared up and go ride, but
we don't.
Shorts and a t-shirt and a helmet, you just have a good old time.
So that's my...
I mean, I still have a big bike. I just don't race anymore. I've got a super clean 2002 YZ250. It just sits in the corner with them. Because the stock bike, the little bikes, they're just fun to hop on, throw it in the back of the, bring it camping. I mean, I think the universal of you can literally bring it anywhere and let anybody ride it.
You could, yeah, literally throw anybody on one, yeah.
Yeah.
If you went with a trailer full of like 8 KLX 110s, you could grab any of your buddies, anybody, anywhere.
Like I've got extra bikes. I've got an extra bike. Like somebody could ride my Z50 or, I don't know. I just like having a motorcycle to. I hate walking at the track. Who likes walking around to the track?
So you literally use it as
I'd use it as a pit bike.
Pit bike.
Yeah.
Around the pits, yeah.
Like when I was younger, I would Austin Ulrich. He had
Aussie.
Yeah, he had a Z50 when he was like racing 65s, and I'd be in the pits with him, and I'd just swoop the Z, and I'd just ride it around all day at Washougal.
Yeah, for me, I think it is just, it's not as just intense and crazy. It's more about having a good time.
Yeah.
This is why I love pit bikes. Is you can go bang bars with your buddies.
It's a novelty.
It is. But if I had to pick one, I'd rather just ride pit bikes only. Like if I was given the choice, I have my 450 or a pit bike. You can only have one for the rest of your life. I would definitely go pit bike because it's more laid back. It's more fun. I'm not going to be the next pro at anything.
Yeah.
So I have more fun. Plus, it's cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Way cheaper, unless you have a Rieger.
You have both.
BBR, but
have both.
But for me, it's just, I don't know, it's just more fun. It's just...
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it can get intense with money and stuff, but like it's just literally more laid back and fun, and you can just like high five with your buddies.
Everybody's got them now too. It's a cool thing. Everyone's doing it.
Dude, I love going to some
of
these places. Like Top Gun this weekend, I believe, is going to have a pit bike race. We did it last year.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, we just, hey, we're going to have a pit bike race. We kind of went over to Joey Lancaster, kind of put in a track for the Dream Race on literally the old start. That's it. It was just up and down the start and a couple jumps, little corners and stuff. And I went in there like, there's still some of the berms and stuff left. Let's build one. Let's throw one in. I don't remember. I think Ted Duvall went out there and just kind of threw something in. Dude, we had like 70 people out of the blue, just like.
Yeah, and they'll ride.
And and it's just surrounded with spectators all cheering on. There's Huffman sitting on the dozer. Like,
was that the mud race one?
No, there was no mud. This was 2019 Top Gun.
Okay.
And we literally just threw in a ragtag little just spot on the start. That's the entire track is just the start. Yeah. And it was awesome. I did take out Dwayne Brown. Dwayne, I'm sorry. I went out and rode Bob's.
It's not a race with you in it if you don't clean out at least like 3 people, and not just like take someone out in the corner. You usually like send them off the track.
No, that dude, no.
Or
I will tell you, I made a mistake though because I rode a 10-inch bike in the 150 class, the big minis.
There you go.
But I rode Bob's Twin Spark.
Okay, so you're riding 250F.
Yeah, so I'm out there. And also, by the way, I had cut my hand open the grinder that day, so it's all bandaged up. I think it was, this one. It was all bandaged up and wrapped weird, and I had to, though. I just had to. It just, and so I'm going out.
If you have a chance to ride by any of Bob's bikes, just drop what you're doing. If you have a broken
Bob was an instigator. He's like, just do it. I'm like, okay, fine. I wrapped it up as tight as I could. I still bled all over his bike. I'm sorry, Bob. I know I should have cleaned your bike better, but...
Still there from last time you rode it, too.
Probably. So I passed Neil Allen for the lead, and there's actually a video. Carson Brown got video and put it on his YouTube. I pushed Neil Allen over a berm and off the track. Problem was, Neil's a good rider. He didn't crash. He got right back on and on my tail, and I looked back, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Neil's a dirtier rider than I am. There's nothing worse than doing something aggressive and knowing the guy behind you
can get you back.
Can definitely give it right back. And I'm like, I think Neil's definitely faster than me. Dang it.
Yeah.
That was a stressful lap and a half, having Neil Allen on my butt, and he is going to send me in the bleachers.
They've got some really big mini bike races down in California right now too.
So now explain to me this. Actually, there's a few things I have questions on.
Okay.
Yes, California, the scene is big.
Yeah.
It's almost grew too fast because that's why the bike prices are out of control. Explain to me Ohio.
Are they all electricians there? Because they've just got electrician money. Just
nothing makes sense, dude.
I don't know.
Okay, so Ohio.
They've got that Summit. They had that pretty big Summit race. That was a pretty good turnout.
So here's my thing with Ohio, and I definitely know there's some Ohio guys that are both listening live and will listen later this week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. First off, you do not hold the largest pit bike race in the nation.
Vegas.
2019 was actually my race.
Oh, right.
208 entries, I win. I'm sorry.
That's wild.
I got a small pat on my shoulder. I hosted the largest pit bike race in the nation, 2019. Unless anyone else wants to show me some stats, I think we won. Summit was not the biggest. Second, Summit's super rad, badass. I'm not. I was a small little thing, but why I say that though is it's almost like they live in their own weird world with their own Facebook groups, with their own, and it's like they don't look at anything else. Oh, and there is part of why is there's so many pit bikes over there.
Yeah.
Why? Literally, I swear, half of BBR bikes in the entire world are in this state of Ohio. There are so many sick builds, so many $10,000 mini bikes in a state that's known. What's Ohio even known for? Isn't it kind of just like a flat state in the middle of the United States? I know nothing about Ohio. I literally know nothing other than it's a long ways away and there's nothing to attract me to go there. Texas, you got barbecue, you got beach, you got supercross, and you got lots of weird animals. Cool. It was a lot of fun.
No pit bikes like Ohio.
But where did the whole Ohio scene come from?
I think they're getting them from.
And
is there oil there? Is there oil in Ohio?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea the
They've
draw.
got some high-dollar bikes chilling around there in Ohio, though.
But would you not agree Ohio has become like this mecca for pit bike racing?
Yeah.
Or just pit bikes in general. And there's Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we got MGK and Stipe Miocic and a bunch of, I think that's all I got, actually. That's literally,
But I mean, man, I don't know.
I don't know the draw to Ohio. I don't know of much that goes on over there. It's like South Dakota. What happens in South Dakota? Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the news. You don't really hear about them. They're quietly
over
in
Portland.
Iowa too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, let's not even bring up Portland. But it's like a place that's not really a standout for anything.
Yeah.
But in the pit bike scene, that is like this little weird mecca.
They got some nice backyard tracks.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful tracks. But they've got some high-dollar bikes over there.
I swear, literally half of the best built bikes, we're talking big minis, Rig, CHP, BBR, they're all over in Ohio.
There's a guy in California who's got a pretty sweet BBR bike that Kobe Becker, KB built.
Oh yeah.
He's got that billet or that.
I've done a few graphics from here and there.
Yeah, so he's got his bikes. His bike's pretty sweet.
Dude, there's a few guys scattered around who have a garage of amazingly beautiful. Dustin Helton, he's the guy with he runs the Louis Vuitton looking graphics.
Yeah,
and stuff.
he throws down too. He's a good free ride guy.
Oh yeah, he's got some steez.
Yeah.
But he's got some beautiful bikes too.
Yeah, I like the black and gold combo with the red, and he's always got some good clean bikes.
Yes, he's got some good bikes. Kobe can throw down too though.
Yeah,
I've seen some videos.
He's a big dude too.
He can huck those 110s.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked too, I think. But yeah,
they can throw down too. Not bad. I had to ask, do you have any theories? Because I have yet to figure out why Ohio became the place.
I don't know. As soon as a couple of those Facebook groups kind of popped up, and the groups started getting bigger, you start seeing where people are from, and it's like
it's all Ohio.
Yeah, it's like all Ohio, and and not really even a lot in California. It's
Ohio is like kicking everyone's butt.
Midwest.
And I literally one night hopped on my computer, like just looked up the state of Ohio. I was like, okay, I see some cornfields. I see that. Okay, there's Cleveland. Cleveland looks kind of dirty. They got MGK though.
Yeah.
They got Machine Gun Kelly. Okay, cool. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know how that became the spot, but it is huge in the pit bikes.
We need to bring it back here.
I think we're doing okay. I mean,
yeah.
We've
had a rough run lately. 2020's kind of sucked in general.
Let's not even bring up 2020. You know what?
We've had a rough run
in a little bit, but I cannot let this podcast end before I talk to you about MiniMoto.
MiniMoto Vegas?
Yeah, MiniMoto SX in Vegas.
That's fun. The first year I did it, I think it was like 06, 05, 06. I think it was 06.
And that's when they were getting like 500-600 entries, right?
Yeah, that was when McGrath was showing up, Pingree was showing up, Cooper, and then you had Tyler Villapoto, and he was.
Remember Jason Lawrence?
Then you had Jason
J.
Lawrence
showed up, just cleaning everyone out.
And I mean, you had big names at this mini bike race. You had Factory Two Brothers, Factory BBR, legit semi trucks.
Yeah, they weren't rolling up in like their truck.
No, they weren't box fanning
it. They were. BBR looked like a factory supercross.
Yeah, they had like 30 bikes out front, all identical. Then you had 650s. They had a pretty cool setup. Then you had guys coming in because I went down to the first one and I think it was just Joel. It was Joel and me and my buddy Andy, and the three of us went down in Joel's red and white, then black box van that he's been driving since like he was 12.
Yep.
So we drove that to Vegas, and you're going across some heavy desert like in a box van, and yeah, it was cool. We stopped in California, like Grass Valley or Auburn, and hooked up with Fast 50s. And Craig is a super badass guy, and he took us under his wing, and he's like, cool, well, you're going to go down with us. Oh, no, I went down with a guy named Brett Wilmarth. It was another guy I used to work with.
Okay.
And we drove my Ford Ranger to California. The next year we did the box van. So I drove a Ranger to California. We loaded up with Craig and Joel and his truck, and we had this cool Fast 50 setup, and we get to Vegas. And it was neat. We had like the tough blocks and the awning and like the bikes behind the fence and everything. It was like, I was like riding the amateur beginner class.
I forget the year that I tried to race. I think I went down twice.
Did you race it? Did you race it at all?
I never got to race it.
You never got to race it?
So I think I hit it twice, but the year that I was going to race, KLX 110, ignition went out. And it just wouldn't start. We went through the whole thing. Ignition, the full, there was something, basically the whole stator and everything was done. It wasn't just a quick swap CDI, it was stator's done. And so I asked around a little bit, got to meet a lot of people, but just wasn't able to score one, and so I gave up, and I was racing the 110 stock class, which was just loaded anyway, so I was like, I guess I'm just going to hang out and party, and that was honestly one of my best moto experiences, spending 3 days in Vegas for the MiniMoto SX.
And it was at the same time as the Supercross.
The final round of Supercross was the next day, and just seeing all the sights and sounds run into like Jeff Emig, 3 shots in and just not caring, just being super chill and just giving you a high five. And
it was it was cool.
I saw things I can never say on this podcast. I got to hang out with a bunch. Okay, so I went down and I was supporting Erica Short, who she got several titles down at MiniMoto. And which was super. So I helped her out with the graphics, and she's like, "I'm going to try out this whole pit bike thing." Had only been riding dirt bikes for like 3-4 months, and one and everyone because she was like this pro BMXer. Well, weird. BMX actually really helps you with pit bikes. So she got the title, and everyone's like, "Where did she come from?" And everything is like, "Hey, this is sweet. Hey, by the way, I'll keep doing your graphics." You know. And so she went down, got another title. And I think that was the year like 08 maybe. I went down. I went to California. Oh, it was a long drive, and met her, And then me and her took like, it wasn't that, what was it, like 5 hours from Temecula over to Vegas? It wasn't that bad, actually. And then just to see, like, run into Ricky Carmichael playing craps. Or, you know, I was like, and just run into random people just.
We stayed at the Orleans.
Like the heroes we see on TV just hanging out like dudes, or seeing maybe a little intoxicated.
Yeah.
Seeing 10,000 people watching pit bikes. You're just like, I cannot believe the size of the arena.
I never made it to a night show. Bikes. I didn't make it to a night show, but the practice and everything was a lot of fun. And the track was like kind of greasy, slimy clay stuff.
Yeah, see, I never even got on the track. My bike never started.
It was super rocky.
It was rocky?
Yeah, it was rocky.
It looked greasy.
And then I was riding we were with Fast 50s, and it was my first, I raced the expert class for the first time.
Oh boy.
So yeah. And we lined up in practice, and I had McGrath roll up.
12-inch or 10-inch?
12-inch. 12-inch expert.
So you have Costella.
Yeah, McGrath. So I had Costella, Pingree, McGrath. So Costella was like down here, and I'm just like, well, it was fun. Those guys get go to the night show, and like they're only taking like top 3 to the main, and it was a full gate. And if you don't make the first corner, it from like second place back is just carnage. Oh. Like it's last man standing.
It was carnage.
Yeah. And you're in the mod class, so it's not carnage on a slow bike that you can run next to and keep going and hop back on. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, the mod class.
I had some guy hit my kill switch on the 110. If you hit the kill switch, it's dead completely.
Oh, yeah, especially if you run the stock one, because it's not a button, it's a switch.
It's a switch, and if it dies, it's like you have.
So you got to run in the center of your bars. That's what I do.
You run it down by the hand clamp.
You know who taught me that trick? My dad, when I had to race him for the first time. I'm 13 years old.
Dang, Keith.
And we're getting ready to leave the line, and he hits my kill switch. I was like, okay, so that's so ever since then,
don't do it again, Liz.
I run my kill switches in the center.
Yeah, that's what I do now too.
Because my dad was the dick that killed me on the line.
We had a mini bike track at my buddy's house out in Sandy, and it was in the middle of a Christmas tree farm. So we would put throughout high school, our senior year and sophomore, junior year, we would just put laps on the track all day. We'd go down and rent to Sunbelt. We'd get one of those like power towers that have the lights. Yeah. We'd run all night with those.
Those things put out some good light too.
Yeah.
I've had to rent way too many of those over the years, but they do pretty good.
Yeah. So we would do mini bike nights, have 10. We'd ride for all summer. In the summertime, it would just be every single night, just burning gas.
Miss some of those days,
so
man.
many laps. The track's still there. I mean, we can go shred it.
Well, when was the last time that you and me have ridden pit bikes together?
Mountain View mini bike race.
Like 5 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a minute. What you need
we could red 2 up on that.
What you need is a stock 50 again.
I have one. I have the Z.
Because I bought bubble tire bike. I bought my bike that I built for the 2009 MiniMoto stock 50 class.
The stock 50 class that
let's not talk about what's in it.
Do anything, yeah.
Let's not talk about what's in it, and let's not talk about how Dwayne Brown still launched like 40 feet past me off the start.
That bike was so cool.
Dwayne's?
Yeah.
Dwayne's stock
that bike
50.
Was so
we
awesome.
may never know what is inside that thing.
I wonder. I bet he still probably has it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's sure probably the bike that recently. Carson's been riding a lot of their like what people want to see him riding. I want to see him ride the stock mod.
I want to see Dwayne's old school stock 50 and Dwayne, he's all like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I threw a high compression piston. I'm like, Dwayne, I literally.
It's only 14
do you realize the amount of cheating I did? So not the bike I own now, but I had another one that I literally dropped in +2 valves. I did an E70 head and made it look like a 50 head.
And then paint the cylinder black.
So no, I actually, I got a 70 cylinder that is marked as 49 cc's, stroker crank,
punched out, and
yeah, inner rotor. I think I cryoed the gears on that too. Like I had and my homie crowd the gears. I mean, I went through top to bottom, and I punched out that intake so bad, like just auger it out, and I did all this stuff. We left the line, and he literally walked me so bad. It's like, well, what's in yours?
Yeah.
I mean, this is stupid. Mine's a 92 with a big valve head, and you literally left me. I'm like, oh yeah, well, he owns BBR, so
yeah, he is BBR.
He is BBR. So
I remember watching. I remember like back in 05, 06 at Woodland, he would roll up with as just like a BBR van. And they'd drag out the XR100 BBR perimeters where like the frame was just like big old girthy perimeter frames. And those are always the best to watch. Those guys get out there and tread.
I actually have one of their old school mid-size bikes. It's a
XR100.
No, unfortunately, I really don't like the power plant, but I have a CR80 Expert with a TTR engine. And it's got all the goodies.
Oh, yeah,
it's got anodized forks and all the
one with
goodies.
the blue forks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's the one that
I
you read
don't
is
like the TTR power plant, though. I'm not a fan.
No.
The XR is definitely the right power plant, which is probably why that bike wasn't super popular. But it's still a cool bike. It's still fun.
Yeah.
But it's the TTR stock.
It's a Ricky Bobby
fun
bike.
bike. It's the Ricky Bobby bike. TTR stock, great. If you want to mod it out, not the best choice. But dude, we've been talking pit bikes for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
solid. I was like, when I got here, I'm like, I don't know if I could talk about the same thing for that long, but.
And there's still a ton more we even could.
Yeah, I just talked about one race. I still have 3 more races that Vegases that I went to.
Dude, that's what happens when you're in the studio. It's weird. It's just like time becomes, I don't know. It's almost, it just flies by, and like we've literally done, well, I was mentioning off air, the James Hansen episode. I do believe the entire thing was over 4 hours long.
That guy's an animal, man. He rides his bike, and his athleticism is like, that dude.
I would have never expected that, honestly, knowing James since back when he was like a junior rider.
Yeah, working for Rockstar.
When he first was just like the dude who dropped off your packs of Rockstar for you.
Yeah, him
to
and
where
Jerry.
he is now, the guy on TV
who's yeah,
and he's running 100-mile races.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's turned into an absolute animal. Yeah, that guy's a rock star.
Yeah, a couple of guys like him. He's just like someone, like an inspiration to watch people like succeed like that, and like especially him and Mike Smith is my other go-to guy.
Yeah, he was just on the show like a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah, for like.
Because you've known them for a long time.
Dude, I've known these dudes for so long. Like I've seen them in their like crappy positions, and and then you see them. He's just shredding it. Like props to him so much.
That's what I like about James. Is like I remember when he was a struggling like intermediate with the $80 helmet and like
you roll in with a clapped out Toyota pickup, but you're.
But he just, I don't know. I mean, whatever he did, he just literally put his head down and moved forward. And now he's one of the big wigs with Rockstar. He's running all these races. He did a 24-hour bicycle ride thing.
Yeah, like a cycle-thon or
in his house because of COVID and everything.
Pedella I don't know what it's called.
Peloton?
Yeah, that
Peloton.
One. Yeah, Nutella, whatever it's called.
Nutella. And he did 24 plus hours just biking.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the whole live because I think he live streamed the most of it.
I saw a lot of it. I
have
watched
questions about the P brakes, but still.
He's just powered through it. He's an animal.
He's a savage.
I like his when he does the hurricane. When the hurricane came a year or so ago, he did like his little broadcast. He's like a good like people person too, and he's always making people smile. Yeah,
he's quirky. But you got to appreciate everything he's done, and he's thoroughly entertaining. I would love to get him on again, but we can't do 4 hours. We got to like chill out. So speaking of that, we're gonna have to shut this down. We're gonna be back for the after show though. We can talk more pit bikes. We can talk. We never even went into you working over at Action Motorsports.
Yeah,
we never even touched on that.
Yeah, we just kind of chatted, man.
It's what happens, man. It's what happens. So, anyways, dude, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Episode 121, we're going to shut this down. We'll be back with the after show in a few minutes. We'll maybe do a little giveaways. And thank you to everyone who watched this live for watching. And if you're listening to this later, appreciate you listening in. It's been a fun time. Aaron We'll just call you Krashel. I'm just
Yeah, you can just
Aaron Krashel here, one of the OGs in the Northwest Moto and pit bike world. Thanks for coming on, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Of course, dude. All right, let's wrap it up. We'll be back in just a few.